girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their
Yeah, we've got all the funky tunes here, don't we? Thank you all for coming and joining us here. We have got some good news about Stadia, and it is Resident Evil is coming to the platform. This has been confirmed in a blog post today, and it is absolutely great news for the platform. Resident Evil is one of the biggest games coming out this year, and it is coming, and not only that, it is coming with a actual deal as well. So we'll get stuck into all this here, and I will bring this up now, and if it'll let me, it's just being stupid as per usual. So here we go. Resident Evil Village is coming, and if you pre-order the game, you will get a Stadia Premier Edition for free. Just one thing to bear in mind with this, it is not going to be available in Canada. You can only get you can get this in basically every other country bar Canada. So just keep an eye on that if you are from Canada, and it is while stocks last. So I know from the last time with Cyberpunk, the deal actually went pretty quick in a lot of places. So if you're looking to get a Chromecast and a controller, the Premier Edition there, go off and buy that because it's cheaper than buying it separate. Or I'm telling lies at this moment in time. You can actually get the Premier Edition. The Premier Edition is an offer as well. So for an extra £10 or so, $10, you can actually get Resident Evil plus the Premier Edition. So go check that out. One thing I just want to point out here is the price of the game. The price of the game in America, the US, is absolutely fine. Over here in Europe, the price is slightly higher. And in the case of the UK, it is some £10 dearer than it is on console. So this is just something to bear in mind as well. Again, it is absolutely brilliant that this is coming to Stadia, and we can look forward to the game coming. And not only is Resident Evil Village coming, we are also getting Resident Evil 7 Biohazard Gold Super Duper Edition on the 1st of April. And I'm telling you now, if you haven't played that game, you are in for a treat if you like horror games. It does have a lot of jump scares in it. So if you're not a big, massive fan of jump scares, it may be worth picking it up and playing it with the lights on and with your significant others in the room. If you've got kids or you've got your boyfriend or girlfriend or something in there to hold your hand while you're playing it, it can get a bit jumpy. I know for me, Kelly was absolutely laughing the whole time I was playing this because I was flipping just jumping all over the shop. It is a real good game, and you can definitely get your money's worth there. And going on to Stadia Pro, this is going to be absolutely great to see how it performs. We will get into some of the other sort of stuff in regards to this. I know there's a lot of hype out there in the community about this is proving that Stadia is not dying, etc. Unfortunately, this is for me, again, this is my own personal opinion here. This has not changed anything for me because we sort of knew this deal was, or that both Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8 were both coming to Stadia because of the Capcom leak from a couple of months ago. Back in well, I'm just double checking here. I'm just going to bring up the article. It was back in November. There was a data leak involving Capcom, and a number of things came out from it. Again, what we're seeing here sort of lends itself into what we were told back then. It was reported that Capcom had been paid $10 million to bring both Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village to Stadia, and this appears to be happening here. And along with this, sorry, I'll just make this a little bigger. There was also talk of other games possibly coming to Stadia as well from this data leak. So this is all positive. So for me, my opinion still hasn't really changed on where we are with Stadia, but this is absolutely brilliant and massive news that it is coming. And it's going to get some articles out there, and we have seen the articles out there from the whole range of the gaming media that Resident Evil is coming to Stadia and you can pick it up for free. I'm just double checking some of the statements and stuff of this. One of the parts of this, I know this is going to be, this may get a lot of people quite excited. If this data leak was true, which I think we can see here, it is, it appears to be. One of the things about bringing Resident Evil to Stadia was 60 FPS, and that was one of the targets they would have to meet to bring it to Stadia. So, touch wood, we are going to see that Resident Evil is going to be coming at 60 FPS. This is going to... We're probably going to see some of this shortly when Resident Evil 7 drops as a pro game. There was also, as Charles has just said in the chat there was also rumors of a Monster Hunter game of some description also possibly coming to Stadia, and I think that was like a free-to-play game. So again, there is a lot of things to actually digest in this news. So guys, I would love to hear what you are thinking as well about this. I am really happy that this game is coming to Stadia. It is just, hopefully this is going to drive a lot of people to come to Stadia. But I'm just speaking from the UK perspective here. it is coming in slightly dearer than on consoles with both the Xbox and PlayStation. I've put a tweet out there that and it is £10 dearer, so you can get the deluxe edition for Resident Evil on Xbox and PlayStation for the same price you're paying for the standard edition on Stadia. And I know I think it's broadly the same in Europe as well. So I'm just going to go over some of the chat here, because thank you all for see what's going here. I can see Clyde Gamers here. Thanks for joining. And Raven is here as well. I see Ray's here. Honey, can you go grab my receipts for me? I think I've just brought up some receipts there. And again, I hate the receipts term, but this was sort of known that this was happening. And for me, this doesn't really change anything which is happening out there. This deal was signed before Stadia Games and Entertainment appears to have been shut down. I think what may have been slightly different is now we get the actual Chromecast Ultra and the Premier Edition as part of this, and that bit of promotion there. Stadia Die Games is here as well, so hi. And Amor is here. Why Stadia is a dying platform. Again, I got shouted about saying dying and all that sort of carry on, but yeah, it's actually great to actually see that it's coming still, and we are hopefully going to hear some more games going forward. Let me see who else we've got. Zero Games for Me saying, let's hope it's 60 FPS. If I'm a betting man now, which one of my favorite expressions, if I'm a betting man, I'm going to say yes, it is going to be 60 FPS, because I think this, the data leak which came out was true, and that was part of the conditions of this 10 million, that it had to be 60 FPS. So I'm going to say yes, it is 60 FPS, and in just over a week and a half, I think we're going to see that Resident Evil 7 is 60 FPS, and it is a pro, and we'll be able to play it as a pro game. Happy's in here. Good to see. Raven's got his pre-order in already, and I've seen a lot of people have got their pre-orders in. This is why we sort of want pre-orders, or why I want pre-orders on Stadia, because people will buy into Stadia, and you can see what's coming. I think it is just absolutely great to get all these pre-orders up, and when you actually look at the Stadia store now, you can see all these games which are coming to Stadia, and that breeds confidence. The more pre-orders you have for a platform which has its problems with games, which a lot of people say, if you have more pre-orders, it just breeds confidence, and the more you have, the more this will breed confidence. We have Stadia Die Games is here, and we have Sean here, and he's wishing everybody a happy Monday. Happy Monday to you as well. Maker of Chaos is here, and he said, I'm curious to see how well this will be for Stadia. Cyberpunk was the perfect storm for Stadia since last gen ports were awful. I think that is an absolute fair shout. It all depends what the last gen ports are like. Just like Cyberpunk, we do know that there has been talk, and they have been frank themselves, Capcom I'm talking about, that they were debating maybe not even bringing Resident Evil Village to last gen consoles. So this could be another perfect storm for Stadia if the last gen isn't up to scratch like Cyberpunk. If they can get the word out that that Resident Evil Village runs great on Stadia, we could see another perfect storm. And I have a feeling that even though Cyberpunk had its issues, a lot of issues, I don't think Resident Evil 8 will have as many issues. I think it may run poorly on last gen's consoles, but I don't think we're going to have all the bugs and the glitches that we had with Cyberpunk. So this could possibly be a good thing for Stadia going forward. And I hope that the price comes down over in Europe and in the UK, because that, I'm telling you now, I have seen a lot of people have pre-ordered the game absolutely fine. I've also seen I'm not pre-ordering the game because it's £65. For people in the US, that roughly translates to $90 for the game. And yes, I know you get the Premier kit with it, which actually sort of evens the deal up a bit. But the top end figure of £65, which is $90, give or take a couple of dollars, it is putting some people off as well, despite this deal. So we've got Trisha Rector in here. Yes, Trisha Rector actually mentioned in this post here. Google needs to go out and market this. Absolutely, they need to go out and market this, and I think they've already started that trailer which they've put out, which is great. This is generating a fair bit of buzz out there, and I think it may bring some people to Stadia. It all depends how deep they're into the other ecosystems, and again, I think the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 ports are going to be vital here for Stadia. If they could turn out to be pretty ropey, they could really do the marketing like they did with Cyberpunk. Sean is going to play Resident Evil 7 on Pro, or Resident Evil 8 on Pro. What a great, or I think that's Resident Evil 7. Yeah. I just seen that meant Resident Evil 7. Yeah, again, Resident Evil 7. I will tell you about Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 was the game which got me into the Resident Evil series. Before Resident Evil 7, yes, I was aware of Resident Evil 2 being an absolute cult game, but I never really got into the Resident Evil series. I was not a big fan of horror games, but I just really enjoyed Resident Evil 7. For people who are a bit hesitant of Resident Evil 7, if you can get over the first half hour to 3/4 of an hour, I think that's where it's probably the most jumpy. You get used to what's going to happen. And if you can get past that, it is a corker of a game and extremely well worth playing. I had a load of fun in that. Yes, there's still jumpy bits and all that, but after you get over that initial fear of it, everything sort of calms down and you can actually get really into the game. I did anyway. It was one of my favorite games of last gen, to be absolutely honest with you. And it is something to really play if you haven't, because it just opens up your eyes to another genre. And that is one of the big things I love about cloud gaming. And this going to Pro is going to probably open this up for a lot more people as well. So I'm just going to stop sharing the screen there. So yes, it's something to keep an eye on for Resident Evil 7. Is if you're hesitant, play it at a time which suits you. Don't play it dead at night. Play it during the day, people around you. And if you can get over that one hump at the very beginning where it gets into your head of being absolutely scary as anything, you can just sit and enjoy the game. And I would recommend playing with a headset if you can, just to add into the atmosphere, because it just absolutely adds to the experience out there. I'm assuming Ray didn't like something I said there. Zero games for me. I'm very critical about Stadia, but I did pre-order this. Absolutely, you bring the games, you will start to reduce any of the doubts you have about the platform. I am hoping we're going to get an absolute mountain of these announcements over the next couple of months here, and weeks and months. The more games you bring, you're more likely to drop the money down and pre-order this. And you bring the games out so you can pre-order it. It just goes back to that. makes you more invested into the platform. Okay, we have, I've just jumped all over the show here. Many fans already pre-ordered it in other platforms. They certainly to the party like always. Yes, I think they should have probably maybe announced this a wee bit earlier, because I do know some people have bought this on other platforms. I have been hovering over the pre-order button for a while now, and I would have before the SG&E thing, if Resident Evil came up, I would have pre-ordered on Stadia. If I had this announcement with before any of that, I would have pre-ordered on Stadia without a doubt, I would say. And Jahara's just said about the Monster Hunter game. Yeah, Monster Hunter, there was lots of talk about this in the league, so we're probably going to hear about some more of that shortly. I would say in the next couple of months. And just it was $10 million for this port. This is one of the figures which has been brought up in that Jason Schreier article from a number of weeks ago, where he has been saying that Stadia have been quote unquote overpaying for ports, and this could be another one which they have been overpaying for. Just so I get my words correct here, I am absolutely happy beyond belief that they are buying ports across. The overpaying is often an issue, and I think they should be going out to do this some more, getting more of these big games. And the game which everybody will have in their eyes for the next one is Call of Duty. I think they really need Call of Duty this year on Stadia, especially with all these memes going about and all the talk about only being able to have 1 or 2 Call of Duty games on your PlayStation or Xbox because of the size of the games. If they get a Call of Duty onto Stadia day and date, that is going to set mouths talking, and let's hopefully they're dropping the big bucks down there to get Call of Duty day and date. If they got Warzone, how many people would jump onto Stadia to play Warzone? It's especially if it was cross-platform multiplayer. That could be absolutely vital for Stadia going forward. If they got that, along with the Call of Duty Championships as well. Could you imagine you're watching the Call of Duty Championships on YouTube, which they've got exclusive rights to? Come in and join us now with the link below, and bang, there you are into the game straight away, and not having to download or do anything like that. It's you just go into it and you're into your lobby and you're playing Call of Duty, and then you can add in crowd play as well, some crowd choice as well, what maps to play, what's the special rules. Again, there's just so much potential here. And this is why I'm hoping that this is not going to be the only game we're going to hear about this. And could you imagine people are going to set up Call of Duty lobbies and get people to choose the next map and things like that, a bit like what Outcasters are doing with their crowd choice. There is just a lot of things they could do there, and we will go. Yeah, a lot of people are talking about the Monster Hunter, so let's hope that. Jairus, Monster Hunter isn't free to play. No, that's Monster Hunter, the game, isn't free to play, but there is a lot of rumors out there. A game from the Stadia leak, which happened, which seems to be true, because there's so much actually coming from this, which appears to be accurate, that there was a Monster Hunter free to play title on that. And this is sort of saying, with all these things sort of coming true, it seems to indicate that the Stadia leak was true. So we could see a free-to-play Monster Hunter title. And again, that could be epic, playing the full-fat Monster Hunter on the go. Let me see. Charles is saying here, I know this is an older dear. I know you have to. I know you have your opinions, but I'm cautiously optimistic. Yes, again, everybody has their opinions, and I think it's good to have the breadth of opinions like there. And I'm really glad to see how many people are extremely excited about this. I'm really happy that this is actually coming to Stadia, and we can see that the money is being invested there. I think we can get into a bit of the debate if it was before or after the S&G. I think it was before. Some people are thinking after, but for me, it was before. But even with that, it is great to see that this is coming. And hopefully, it is just the start of more things to come because there's just so much things they could do. Again, here's an interesting thing as well. Not only are we getting Resident Evil Village and Resident Evil 7 as the pro deal, we're also getting the Resident Evil Village multiplayer. And this is going back into what I was saying, a bit like Call of Duty. Hopefully we can get some Stadia features in there to vote on how to what map to go to and things like that. I'm going to be honest, the multiplayer didn't really excite me, but I do know that it has got a lot of fans out there and people who are excited about that. So they could probably come up with much better options than I can think of for that. Yep, more people have got their pre-order in. Absolutely brilliant to see. And and I am just joined by some lunatic here who we will just bring in here, who I think is really excited about this news as well. So, Barry, how are you?
Not too bad, thank you. Yourself?
I am awesome. Oh,
Good.
What is your take of this news?
What a day. I mean, you know, we spoke about this a long time ago, didn't we? It feels like it's got to be a good 6 months ago now that we were kind of talking about this being a possibility and kind of all the news. But wow, you know, the fact that we get Resident Evil 7 on April 1st as Pro, and obviously we can pre-order now with that fantastic promo with the Premier Edition again. You know, it's fantastic. What a way to kick off a Monday, and it's a great message, and I think it's something that's everybody is really, really going to welcome.
Yeah, and just going back to this, I'm going to come back to Dave there in a second there, but just think about this. 1st of April, at this moment in time, what we know for Stadia is that they have got both the Resident Evil 7 coming and Outriders. So that is going to be 2 big titles that you can play on Stadia that day. And I think it is going to get people to raise their eyebrows a bit and hopefully get people to actually come and have a look at the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think when you put those sequence of events, those chains like you've just described, you know, it certainly puts a fantastic emphasis on how easily people can jump into big titles that are going to be popular. You know, we've seen from people trying the Outriders demo, you know, right the way back from its announcement last year, people are really, really interested in it. And then obviously I think that, you know, the demo's done a lot to kind of further that, kind of then lead that into, you know, Resident Evil Showcase, people watching that content, people were going absolutely nuts for it. And it's another extension of a much loved franchise. You know, so to kind of be in a position where now people can actually turn around and just press that Stadia button on a controller and jump straight into it, whether it's on, you know, their browser, you know, their Chromecast or their mobile, is absolutely fantastic. And it's, you know, it's I think in some of our minds, we kind of feel like it's an overdue announcement, but we can all breathe a sigh of relief now, because we know that it's definitely coming. And I think, you know, people have long said for ages, I think it's something that is coming. It will just find out closer to the time. And now we know, you know, that kind of, that lock has been unpicked, and the news is out in the wild. So everybody can rejoice.
Yeah, It is again. It is good news for Stadia. A lot of the again, I don't want to harp on to this. It is really good news, and it just seems that there's a lot of good news one after the other. And we had FIFA last week. We've got this news this week. We've got Outriders coming up. We've got Resident Evil 8 coming. There's lots of small good news stories out there for Stadia, and it is good to see. What's your feelings on Resident Evil 7? I've given a bit of my history in Resident Evil 7, or Resident Evil series. Are you a big Resi fan?
Not massive. I think my first introduction was after the first few, to be honest with you. So I have played a couple of them, and I have played through a sizable chunk of 7, I think. But it was something that I definitely want to jump back into. But 8, I think, kind of piques your interest, and I think that's the thing that with a franchise like that, when it has its original player base, it has its people that absolutely love it, absolutely adore it, and when you bring out a new title, what you often find is that you actually bring a new audience, which will then they may well kind of jump into to 8 initially. But hopefully it will then cause people to then go back and maybe look at earlier installments in the franchise as well.
Yeah, I'm just about to bring Happy in here. Actually, we'll do it now. Hi, Happy. I just want to put this out here. This is a slight warning for people. This is a good warning. This isn't me trying to be doom and gloom. Be careful the link you are using to pre-order the game. You have to use the special link in the blog, etc., to take advantage of this offer. I've just seen a tweet by Stefan there, and you have to use the link in the blog post to take advantage of this deal. So it's not just a click and pay, just click and go. So if you are looking to pick this up, just make sure that you're clicking onto that. And Happy.
Hello, I was running like crazy to come here.
What's your take on this?
I mean, this is a good news for Stadia. This might get more people into Stadia because there's a big community for Resident Evil. And I think this is actually a good deal. I am really jump scared, so it is entertaining to watch me play these games, but I'm not actually that fond of scary games because I get so scared sometimes playing them.
Yeah, I was saying there, when you play Resident Evil 7, if you're going to play it, just take your time with it because it goes really. For me, I'm a big chicken. It took about half an hour to an hour just to find my feet in that game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have nightmare from Resident Evil 1 and the dogs jumping out into the window still. So yeah, no, I think this is actually a good thing. Well, I was a little bit disappointed over the price because it is a deep price here in Scandinavia and also in UK, as I heard. So it is quite yeah. But if you are only playing on Stadia, this is great day.
Isn't it just?
Isn't
it feels very reminiscent on a scale, especially with the history of the franchise. It feels very reminiscent to how we all felt very much around the time of the Cyberpunk announcement with the Premier Edition. It's the same sort of, it's the same move. And if you look at the, if you feel that positivity and how we all feel about it, it's that same vibe. And I think that's a real welcome one.
I totally agree with you. I was just thinking the same when I was running home. That this is actually some of the same way it went down with the Cyberpunk 2077, and it is good. It is quite good. I feel happy. Like I am happy, but I get more happier when I see this kind of news, and I like shadow drops like this. This is a surprise. and it's not okay. I knew this was gonna come today, so I actually love this. This is
Yeah, I think that's the key point. I'm not shocked the game is coming. I'm just shocked where it just arrived or where we got the announcement.
yeah.
I think that was going to happen no matter what. I'm going to just say what Treasure Rector said there. I played it in VR as well, same as me. It's even scarier. It's like, oh my.
I can't do it. My heart would.
A glutton for punishment.
And if you go back to that, what actually got me to play Resident Evil in the first place was the kitchen, which was the demo which came with PlayStation VR, which was based on Resident Evil 7. I'm just going to shout out Raven in the chat here. If you order it through your app on your phone, you can still get the deal as well. It's if you're buying on the browser, just make sure you go through the link just to be sure. Jonathan, thanks for joining us. There's Happy and his dogs comment. Rev, again, thank you for everything you've done here. And he says this is a huge get for Stadia. It is a huge get, and I think there's no one out here denying that it wasn't. We will see what else we have here. Hell Monkey in the chat. Just Hell Monkey, hi. And he said about Warzone. I had a bit of a thing about Call of Duty there, saying hopefully we can get Call of Duty this year. I'm just going for the bits here. We have Chariot Man Gaming saying he's damn excited, and he's saying what's up with you as well. I think this. I am excited to this. I'm gonna say this as well. I'm excited to play through Resident Evil 7 again because I will replay it. And again, this isn't just Resident Evil 7, the base game. It's the Gold Edition where you get all the DLC as well. Some of the DLC is actually quite fun and it's slightly different. I think it's the Zoe one where you actually get a proper gun and you can just go about like it's nearly like a first-person shooter almost. So again, that is something to keep an eye on as well because the DLC is actually not. I'm not going to say it's brilliant, but it's not completely woeful either. It's all right, and with it coming as well. Hell Monkey said, "Yeah, I think it was before the leak seemed to be spot on. Resident Evil Reverse coming hopefully with crowdplay and crowd choice. That's what I'm hoping, and that could be absolutely." Class, and I hope we hear that it is going to come with that because again that could open up things. What do you think? Do you think that would be a good get if they came with crowd choice and crowd play?
It's got to be, hasn't it? Surely.
Oh yes.
Let me see. Ruben or T is saying the multiplayer looks quite weird. Yes. I wasn't a complete fan about any of that, but I'm not a fan of Uncharted multiplayer. I'm not a fan of Tomb Raider multiplayer because I think it feels more like tacked on and it's not really supposed to be there.
I'm more a fan of if it should be something like that. If it should be something, which should be a PvE or something, a side story, something PvE or something like that. That is something that could fit the Resident Evil if you should have some sort of multiplayer, I think.
I'd say the other thing that you may have covered it slightly earlier before we've dropped, and it's something we've been talking about very recently as well. At the point that this drops, obviously, not only have they given us a little bit of insight into maybe what one of those programs are for April, of course, but the nice thing is at the time that it's dropped, it's still probably 6 to 8 weeks, I think, in advance of the launch of the game. Obviously, we know that we're getting it day and day. This means that we don't get a repeat of other situations where people go out and buy it on other platforms, or they feel the need to kind of explore because they specifically want to play that game. We've now got good, clear disclosure that it's coming, so people can actually go and buy it on the platform that they want to buy it on, that's a real plus for me as well. It's really good to see that they've given people enough notice that they can actually kind of access it on Stadia, which is exactly what we want. And as an SA stuff we've been talking about, very, very recently, enabling people to kind of make those buying decisions and jump right into it, especially with such a title like this. It's massive, and it's going to be massive. It's going to be, it's going to be a huge game that's talked about in May. And it's nice that we can, in that cloud gaming community, we can now kind of properly be part of that conversation, which is great.
Yeah, and I was just jumping like crazy. I was so shocked. I just saw Stadia in the village. I was wow, it's like that. So I didn't have to. It's good they dropped these trailers like that out of the blue, so you get the hype in a way. So that's and it is smart for them to go out doing it a little earlier than just now the game is out and here it is on Stadia. So you have some time to decide in a way where you want to play it.
Yeah, I think this is a really good comment from Zero Games for me. I know it's not a comment, it's more his opinion. You bring the games to the platform, and Pro this case, you will get people to sub and resub, and you could draw people across. Getting Resident Evil 7 as a Pro game is going to get people interested in actually trying out Stadia. If they haven't already, they've got their free month, they can jump in and get it. And I hope they're going to do a big, massive media push towards this so that we can get more people onto the platform, because the more people they have, it just becomes easier. And we've seen that with GeForce now, where they're shouting to the sky about their 10 million users. I want Stadia to start doing that as well, and hopefully this is going to pull a lot of people across to get them to try Stadia, especially as I think because of the Capcom leak that it is going to be 60 FPS, and I think that's me touching wood that it is going to be a great port for Stadia. Again, I do have some concerns because Resident Evil is a dark game, as in there's lots of darkness in it, and it will be hopefully they get a nice balance on that, so it doesn't become how dark games are on not just Stadia, by the way. This is just all cloud platforms seem to have a bit of an issue with darkness at times.
Yeah.
But the pro game thing, I think we're going to see some more of that as well.
Yeah. No, I mean the other platforms also starting to try to go out with big high-end games to pro subscription. Like PS Now goes after Microsoft, and Microsoft is they are dropping all over the place with games, and there's a good competition now in the gaming world, and they just have to hang on and try to get someone excited to jump on and play. Oh, I can play Resident Evil for free. Wow, I'll pick up Stadia to play that game. So they have to have these little teases in a way.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's. Of course, it's also worth remembering these are the first of the first Capcom titles that we've had on the platform, and we've obviously known about, I think, for a long time since they were kind of plastered on that wall that obviously Capcom were kind of involved. So I think it's another milestone in that respect to see a publisher come to fruition and bringing their title onto the platform.
Oh, sorry. I thought.
No, it's fine. I was
no
just
way. I agree.
Before the comment scrolled out of my eye shot, I was just going to say how Monkey makes a really good point here. At the point that this is launching, that was the one thing that surprised me when I seen the offer with it being the Premier Edition with Chromecast Ultra. There was a part of me wondering at the point that it launches, is it close enough to that cutover period where they could have seen something with a Google TV with Chromecast? But yeah, I think that's got to be in the offing soon. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was coming to that. I was just going down them in order. Where was I? Where was I? I've lost this here.
I've messed it up now, haven't I? I've
Yep.
ruined it. See,
Uh,
you were better on your own.
Yeah, final announced it on a good time and not a day or two before. I agree with that as well. And do what I think as well. Microsoft haven't done anything. Microsoft have been quiet. I was going to say Sony have been quiet, but they haven't because they've just announced something. It's actually a shake-up of their boardroom level. So that is going on at PlayStation at this moment in time. There's Pride Gamer again. But can you really count Outsiders? Game Pass kind of took the wind out from the sails in that one. Yeah, I agree and disagree with that one. Yes, Outriders going to Game Pass has taken the sales out from everybody, and I think it is an absolute massive move by Microsoft in that way. But for me, it isn't about Microsoft taking that out. It's the broader picture that Outriders is on Stadia. I think Stadia should be out there doing a hell of a lot more with Outriders, because what does Outriders have? And everybody seems to forget. It's got Stream
Connect.
And it has got cross-platform multiplayer as well. They should be out there hammering this home that is coming with that. But yeah, it is difficult for him because of Game Pass taking the wind out from the sails, but it's one of them ones where I think they should really be trying to get a video out there showcasing Stream Connect and how that could actually be awesome in Outriders, because any of these sort of games, if you put Stream Connect in, it can really add so much to it. Like we've had in the Division 2, because if you play the Division 2 on Stadia, it's nearly hard to play it on other platforms because of the Stream Connect features.
I think these are where your little marketing niches from each of the big brands are now starting to kind of fall in, aren't they? You know, Microsoft's narrative is Outriders is here, it's included in your subscription. Stadia's narrative is, click play, no downloads, Stream Connect. You know, everybody's got their individuality to that message that they can kind of bring to the market, and in my opinion, both of those on merit are, carry equal weight, don't they? In that sense, if you think about it, one's included in the sub, one's got kind of exclusive features and the ability to kind of play it instantly. You kind of look at the two, it's. They each have their own merits in that respect.
No, I mean, they just have to go out and start making a lot of trailers for their games coming down the road. And it doesn't have to be a big wow like this. They can just tell them easy and exactly what it is. And if they want to do some more, okay, that's fine. But just go on YouTube and tell people. That's the most important thing. So if they start doing that, that is a good start for Stadia. I like to read blog posts, but mainstream, they not go to read a blog post on Stadia to find out what next game is. That's what
I'm going to say this, and I don't think it's going to go down well with people. I think the mainstream gaming media has absolutely done what they needed to do today. I've been scrolling down, and if you put a Google search in for Resident Evil Village, you do get a number of hits for Stadia with that news breaking. The Verge have covered it. Eurogamer have covered it. I'm just saying it has been picked up by a number of places, and they are covering that you're getting the Premier Edition as well. So I don't think there can be too many complaints out there about how it is being covered. Yes, there is one article which I know is getting hammered a bit. Again, but on a whole, I think it's been a reasonably fair way this all has actually came out here today.
Yeah.
But what we need to what would be great to see is if Stadia or Capcom themselves are going to come out and say what this is doing. This is from an anonymous source, by the way. Anonymous person wanted me to say this as well. But yeah, I think that would be great as well if we get a ballpark. But my feeling is we're going to get 60 FPS in both 1080 and the 4K mode. I don't think it's going to be 4K 60, but I do think it is going to be higher than 1080 and 60. But again, we don't know how they're going to tune it and all. Dave is interested in the big vampire lady. I think she is actually taking over. I love all the memes going out there, and if you haven't seen, Outcasters are doing one as well. If you go check Outcasters Twitter, they have actually got a meme about the vampire lady and how it compares in size to one of their characters. Let me see. There's just good discussions going on there. It's awesome chat. GM or TV. That's Gamer TV. Go check out him. Go check out his channel. He is actually putting out some stonker videos there. So he is. He's putting out ones which are comparing all the platforms. I believe he's fair. Sometimes Stadia is better. Sometimes Luna is better. Sometimes the other platforms are better as well. It is definitely worth checking that out because there is no favorites. It is down the middle as far as I can see. With that. Stadia Mania is here.
Hey!
Is terrifying in VR. Again, I know Stadia Mania is running a FIFA league, or not FIFA league. He's organizing lots of FIFA tournaments or FIFA things. Go check him out. Let me see. Sammy in the cloud is here. Yeah, I suppose you can check him out as well if you're desperate. And he hasn't got a Premier Edition yet. Okay. Shall we have a wee discussion about the Premier Edition? I thought you were having a bit of a discussion about the Premier Editions, how you think that they're just trying to get them out from stock just in case it's the timing of the new Chromecast TV support.
I mean, if you think, going back to when Google TV launched last year, they said in the first half of 2021, Stadia will be available, on Google TV with Chromecast. At the point that comes out, you've pretty much got, you've got a matter of weeks left before you're outside of that first half of the year. So from that perspective, you have to kind of feel that it's hopefully going to be on the money. It's going to be close. At which point, they are going to need to make sure that that kind of Premier Edition becomes. I'm going to say hopefully. I think the Chromecast Ultra has served itself well in what it's done with with Stadia. But I think now what they need to do is kind of as part of that, when they hit that point in the year, kind of move it to a fresh bundle, with that. You've got coloured, but they've got coloured units. The Google TV comes in different colour combinations. From a controller perspective, obviously we've got white, black, wasabi. What can we do there to kind of mess with kind of Google TV kind of colour combinations? I think there's loads they can do, with it.
Yeah, they are looking at the stock and say, "Oh, we have to get them out now. That's fast."
Again, okay. Duncan, don't say it. Okay, I'll say it. OnLive did the same sort of offers as well, which I have absolutely no bother with this offer at all. So some people are going to spin it. This is brilliant. Some people are going to spin it that this is them just trying to get a bit rid of stock. I think it's in the middle. It is them trying to get it out from stock, but it's still a great offer. It's both.
And they want more people in, so that's a way to drag the Resident Evil fans in. That's a huge community.
Yeah, so I think this is both sort of thing. This is them getting rid of stock, but it's a good offer. So it's pleasing everybody sort of there.
Yeah.
Or Gamer TV is going to be doing a comparison. Jamie Lee is here as well, and he said it's been a good couple of weeks for Stadia. I think we are all in agreement. If it has been a good couple of weeks, and we sort of touched on that as well about FIFA coming now, this and all that sort of carry on. Dark Bites, Universe of Gamer, most iconic franchise in gaming history. It is undoubtedly one of the biggest. I wouldn't. Or iconic, but I wouldn't say the most iconic. I think there's if you're talking about iconic franchise in video game history, I would just say Mario.
It's
me. Yep, I'm just going here. And now your mama knows. Unfortunately, I did an interview with them. I think I got a lot of people talking over the weekend. So definitely check that out. And I'm just making a self-deprecating joke about myself, about me being on it, because it's just me. Dark Bites is saying that you do the same with the next big game. Yes, I hope we hear about what the next big game is, because this is how gaming works. Now we've got Resident Evil 8 coming to Stadia. It's what's next. So Stadia can definitely live off this for the next week or two, but when other games are announced, it's going to be when we're getting that game. It is always what's coming next.
You're seeing that already. You're seeing that right now. 4 days ago, FIFA launched, and now we're talking about Resident Evil. I mean, what I will say is, what a great place to be. When you can go from talking to FIFA about Resident Evil, if you keep that momentum going, that's your happy place, isn't it?
Next game is Call of Duty Warzone. Come with the Premiere Edition.
Oh no, flip! I really hope if they get that, they could absolutely put out an absolutely amazing media campaign. I just hope we're going to not see this just dwindle. I think they should be ramming this home when come April the 1st here, when Resident Evil comes, announce all the pro games as per normal. But in the follow-up tweets, you've been playing Final Fantasy, Resident Evil 7 on Pro. Remember, you can get this Resident Evil Village in a couple of months, and you can get a free Premier Edition. And just build up the momentum that way.
But I think it's a smart move if they do this. Many games down the road now, like the big cool games that's coming, and they just drop a Premier Edition and a free game into it. That's like a package, and they will get more and more of these out, and they'll sell them, and they'll get more people in, I hope. And it's a win-win, like you said, Duncan.
Yeah, it is. I think it's actually great this is all happening. We've got so many comments here. We're just trying to go through them here. Next Stadia giveaway, Google TV dongle. Seems that they just want to get rid of. Hopefully they do that, because I wouldn't mind picking up a Google TV dongle, and if they did this with the Google TV dongle, I would be all over this. I would be buying Resident Evil Village on Stadia. I have got a number of Premier Editions, and I've got a number of controllers at this moment in time. And this isn't me being, look at me, I'm awesome. I don't really need another Stadia controller at this moment in time. I don't really need another thing. But if it was a Google TV one, I would be buying this without a doubt on Stadia. I'm sorry if that's maybe upset a couple of people, but again, this is not taking away from the news, which the news is brilliant. Barry, you can say.
Alexa
is here. Andrew Nummer says the best thing about this trailer saying new downloads, installs, or updates today needs to show this in every advertisement. Absolutely. And Dark Pipes were saying the 4K 60. Let me see. Dave has said on the dark frame, if I'm messing with my brightness and gamma, etc., massively improved it. I think I followed a guide on YouTube. Yep. It might be worth checking that out. Okay. Charles is bringing up something.
Population, oh.
Oh, that is. Do you know what the C word is? It's not the C word, but Kelly calls me all the time, I'm hoping. I think the C word is the connect, and that would be brilliant to see because there is a lot of games getting announced. This Friday, there's 100 games getting announced by Microsoft coming to the platform. And again, I think a number of these will end up on Stadia as well. So I think that we could possibly see that, hopefully. But what would you prefer, a Connect or a mini event like we had before? Like over the couple of days and have people join in?
I think it will be more social with not to connect, just have a open community, like play games like we had before Christmas. That was really fun.
Yeah, I'd say that with Austin and Katie and everybody, they're kind of wrapped in. I think that would be it's certainly the preferred style of event. But what I'd maybe do is, rather than it depends how they're going to do it. If it's going to be packed from if they've got enough to fill 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, then yeah, kind of build that sort of momentum. If what they can share is maybe a little bit restricted, then kind of cover it across one event, capture your hosts that are kind of familiar face, and just go bang, here's 10-15 minutes of wall to wall, either a little bit of conversation, getting people into games, and literally here's a barrage of games that are coming to the platform. And
please don't show old games you've shown already, and focus on them, like 20 minutes on games that we already know about that they have been showing.
Okay, I think we're going to fly through the rest of these. This has been an hour talking about Resident Evil. This has been absolutely brilliant. We will see. Jamie is saying they're giving away Premier Edition. Just getting rid of the disc. I think most people are on that sort of thing. They're just trying to get rid of the stock. Again, it's not a bad thing. Treasure Rector is saying we need a Major Nelson or an Aaron Greenberg type, and I 100%. To give some due out to the Stadia community or Stadia leadership out there, I do feel like they have started becoming a little more vocal out there. Yeah. They're not shutting down things on Twitter, but they are being a bit more proactive on Twitter. But I think they do need someone out there to do things. Again, it's probably, this isn't me making fun of Grace or anything like that, because I think it's maybe above her station, but I think Grace would be a perfect fit for that because she's got the respect of everybody in the community here, and I think she could be that. Again, you know how all these things work out there, and with what she's doing with her streaming and stuff as well, I think she would be the natural fit to probably put in all of this, some of the nonsense which I come off with and other people come off with. They could put that to a stop straight away and do some good promotions out there. But again, we don't know how Stadia works in the background. Jamie's saying that he thinks we could get an updated Premier Edition. I think that's on the market there. Okay. Dave saying, I agree with me. You never want to agree with me, but they've reported it simple. That's about the different websites. Again, this is what I think I've said this before. Websites and gaming media will report on Stadia when there is stuff to report about on Stadia, positive and negative. This is a big positive that a big game is coming and they're giving away the Premier Edition, so they are going to report on it. What game's coming out on Friday? It's slipped my mind, or coming out this week, which a lot of people. Kays and the Wild Masks. Kids in the Wild Masks coming to Stadia is not a story for these websites because the game isn't big enough and it doesn't have a high enough profile. And I know there's been a lot of hype about that, and I know a lot of people are excited about that. And John Scar has been playing that, and everybody seems to be loving that. But them sort of announcements are just so low on the radar for these big websites. That's why they don't do it. So if Stadia does something big like this, and they get FIFA was reported on as well. It does get reported on. It's just a lot of the things we think are big news for Stadia are just like a tiny blip for the other gaming websites. Yes, I'm not mentioning that. Stadia just needs to kill enough games, and all the talk was safe. That's exactly it. It all, no matter what platform you are on, it just comes back to games, and games. And I didn't even see that. Hell Monkey said I've had a cracking. Let's just hope it continues. Stadia Mania said, thank you, no problem. Dave is away. Oh, we have predicted. If you want to have a laugh, we have done a Stadia Pro predictions video. Please bear in mind it is very relaxed. It is nearly take the pee, so just bear that in mind while you're watching, but we do actually have serious talks during it as well. And I think everybody basically predicted Arc coming to Pro this month because we do know it is coming. So definitely check that out there. Wasabi Premier Editions would be Flask. Yep. It's a solid deal, but I'm not sure why it's 65. That is my concern about this whole thing.
Is it about some taxes in EU or something? Why it's higher price here? I don't know why it should be a higher price in that game. It seems so strange for me. $10 extra. Yeah,
it's really interesting that we do know that. This isn't a Stadia issue. This is a gaming issue as a whole, a gaming community issue. There doesn't seem to be consistency in prices. Some AAA games are coming at £60, or some coming at £65, and on PlayStation they're coming at £70. There is just absolutely no consistency, and they're just all over the show. And again, there's cheaper as well, which is £50, and you can get some at £40 as well. Again, currencies are different. It's just really weird how it's all going on with that, why the prices are different. TV News. Duncan can join the village, people. Okay, I will. So you never know what you're going to hear in this. Guess what was number one when I was born?
The village, people.
Was number one when I was born. So really interesting, that, isn't it? Now your mama knows says he would give it. It doesn't excite him, and Cyril would say we would give it the spur one coming. Okay. Just going through this. Hell Monkey also feels that Grace should be the face of Stadia, and Marixer.
I think on that point that you made about Grace, or somebody, obviously you obviously put Grace out there because of the respect she's got for the community. What would be nice to see them do as well is go and kind of be out there in the sphere in terms of jump on a show with us, jump on the Stadia Source Roundtable, go and have a real conversation, and kind of do those sorts of things. That would be a really good presence to turn up.
I think we need Jack too.
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, I think Jack Boozer is a great shout because he always does a great job talking about the platform, and kind of he's very captive in the way that he speaks. People engage with kind of what he's saying. They listen to, you know, everything, and that's exactly, you know, that is exactly what they need. But you think how many, you know, kind of situations there could be around the Stadia community for them to kind of jump in. You know, think of those sorts of things. Think of Rock brought Cloudburst back, you know, obviously for its new season, and it had that kind of person playing that role, you know, in amongst the community, kind of answering the questions. Obviously, you know, it would have to be very guided in the sense of what they can actually talk about, but they nevertheless, there's still a good, healthy amount of conversation that they could have, and you could really put a face to the brand. It would be good.
Yeah, I think Grace would be perfect to be out in the community, talk to the community. Maybe Jack would do more of the PR to the bigger company, have these bigger meetings with, or podcast or something like that. That will be, because he comes off like this charismatic person, like really he's a gamer at heart in a way, and I just think he's a great guy for that kind of work in a way.
Yeah, it's again. I'm just trying to get through this here.
Yeah, sorry.
No. I want discussions. It's Disco Elysium is coming on the 30th as well. I forgot about that. That's another big game.
Yeah.
We have Dr. Spaceman. He has started, along with a couple of other people who have went out from a PlayStation Now podcast. Well worth checking that out.
Cool.
Stadia needs to push this and keep the momentum going after Cyberpunk. Yeah, exactly. That's why we want to see more games getting announced. It's not my issue. Okay, going back to the Cyberpunk situation, was they had Cyberpunk, and then what happened? It stopped. It stopped for a couple of weeks or months where there was nothing. It was just cyberpunk, and Cyberpunk was having such a horrible time. It was like it confused me slightly that they were really pushing this. They should have been starting to push. We've still got Cyberpunk, but we've also got X, Y, and Z coming, and I really, really hope that they will have. We've got Resident Evil 8 coming. I hope it isn't. I'm trying to say this nicely. It isn't forced down our throats the whole time. Like for the next 2 months, we're going to be getting Resident Evil Village. It should be other stuff as well. This week, I hope they're going to say we've got Outriders coming, we've got Disco coming, we've got Resident Evil 7 coming, we've got Resident Evil 8, we have got Keys coming, we've got again, there could be a sleeper game in Humankind coming. They've got games coming now. We just need to see all of them get pushed, not just big ones. They've got a couple of slightly smaller ones which they could be pushing as well.
Yeah, gamers, we always want the new thing the whole time. The roll has to go like this. Next game. And it's like a buffet, eat all you can.
And that is why cloud gaming is even better, because you can just jump between all your games and not having to worry. And that is what I'm really hoping a lot of people here who are on the fence about Resident Evil games actually just jump in and actually try it. We will just go down here. Paul has said Resi is 55 quid on Xbox and PlayStation, and Cyberpunk was 50 pound for the same game, which is strange. Yeah, I completely get that as well. That is my work. Again, this doesn't affect people in the US, but it affects people over here in the UK and over in Europe. The pricing is just strange. Treasurector feels that Grace maybe not the right choice. Maybe the Jack Brewster sort of person may be slightly better.
Yeah.
And that reminds me to finish Cyberpunk and Buffett. Yes, I know it's buffet, but I'm just going to say Buffett. Yeah. Should we end in this controversial one at the end?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, we're not. Oh, I hope everybody has been listening here. We've been really positive. How this is good news. it will be tough for Stadia later this year when we hear more about Halo, Horizon, and other big titles for fall. So they need to take advantage while they can. I 100% agree with that. We're in March. We are normally what sort of happens is we're going to hear. If this was 2 years ago, what you would hear now is you have a series of announcements now. Then in April, it goes quiet. You get your E3 leaks, but official news goes quiet because everybody is building up to E3, which is in June usually. Hopefully, I'm right here. But this is what sort of happens. They really need to make hay by the sun's good here and really start pushing and explaining that this is all happening. And it is, I hope that they do.
I am just I'm still worried because Stadia, Xbox, Sony, and all the others are watching on Stadia. Oh, they're doing this, and we are just going to come with this big flood and just, and that's what I'm scared about because they have so much game on the back end. They can we just drop all these games now. And it's the scary thing because Stadia is doing as best as they can because I really enjoy Stadia, love playing on it, and they have some cool games. But the problem is when you have these bigger companies that had 20, 30 years experience and has the gaming devs behind them in all kinds of deals, they can, we just dropped 20 games today. And that's the scary feeling I have.
I tell you what I would like to see, and I genuinely hope that behind the scenes, kind of all the cogs are turning and the thought process is kicking in and those kind of creative juices are flowing. How many games that are due to hit at the back end of this year are going to be delayed?
That's a good shout.
So if what you have to think about is, I agree, Maker of Chaos's point here, absolutely bang on. You kind of have to strike while the iron is hot, and you kind of have to grab your publicity and kind of seize it as and when you can, because there are going to be dips in the year where you are going to lose out to bigger pieces of news. That's just a fact of kind of the gaming world. People it goes in swings and roundabouts because of exclusive content. But if we look at it from that flip side, if those titles miss the mark in terms of their launch titles because they need more time, and let's face it, we're seeing it. Far Cry 6 has been pushed. Riders Republic, Gotham Knights was pushed. Harry Potter's pushed to 2022. There are multiple titles that are being pushed, and if it were me, and I know that 2021 is pretty much done and wrapped, I'd now be thinking about how do you capture that mind share and everything that that people talk about at that point in the year. If that happens, happens, how well placed are Stadia to turn around and go, do you know what? Actually, we're going to do a smash and grab here and say you might have been waiting for that. However, we've got this. Jump in and play it now. And that's just something. I know it's a bit of contingency planning because you can't control it. You don't know what's going to happen. Those announcements are going to roll out at a later point in the year. But if it was me, I would have some kind of contingency for that as to what I can do. I think it'd be a smart move.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think we're going to have some fun and games at the end of the year. And with that, I would not be surprised. And when I say this, I would be talking more from the Xbox sort of thing. If we're talking maybe Forza Horizon is talked about, or Forza Motorsport, or Halo gets delayed again, I would not be surprised if they went out and bought a third-party exclusive, a game which was meant to be coming out. And if not buying it, they will just drop it straight into Game Pass. And you would maybe say PlayStation could do something similar. I would love to see Stadia do that as well, along with Luna and other. Yes, third-party exclusives are contentious, or dropping things into subscription services are rubs people's noses up the wrong way, but that is business, and I would not be surprised if we see some more big deals like this, like Outriders situation we've seen with Game Pass, but PlayStation do that as well. It's going to be fun. It is going to be fun. But
It is.
I just want to say thank you all for joining us here, and I hope you've had fun with listening to us talk pros, negatives, and everything in between. And we will see you the next time. We have got a play along tomorrow, and I'm putting back the the Xbox headset with you. Until tomorrow, it is done. It is dusted. I just have to upload it, but I think we've dropped a number of things on here today, so we will just leave it. It will go up tomorrow morning at some stage. So, anything you want to end with?
We have a Green Quest, the Green Room on Thursday at 8 p.m. That's 8 p.m.
Yes. But that all right.
No, I didn't want to interrupt you. Sorry. You can come back to me after if you like.
No, you go first.
I was just going to say, as a reminder to everybody who may well be in the chat, we've got 4 days left of our giveaway. So don't forget to kind of check out the entry for that. We're obviously giving away a copy of Valheim. Obviously kind of go click on the link, kind of follow us on Twitter, kind of follow us on YouTube, get subscribed. And on Friday, we'll be announcing in our roundup show who the winner is of that copy of Valheim.
I was trying to click under the right window there.
We all lit red, it's fine.
I was getting the tweet so I could put it into the chat there so people can actually get that. But again, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you really soon by the looks of things. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.